You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a successful motivational speaker and trusted life coach, Nancy knows how you can live the life you want regardless of the challenges you face. Although she's legally blind, Nancy's mission is to inspire others to overcome obstacles and live life full out. Call in at 800-333-0001 to ask Nancy for advice on topics such as relationships, finances, business, health, and more. Just call 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Hello, welcome to the Living Full Out Show. I am Nancy Solari, and we're excited to have you here. Now, the topic of the day, though, is regret. You know, we all have regrets in life. You can't escape it. There's always going to be something we wish we had done differently or could have done differently, or maybe we wish we had anticipated something going a certain way. But whatever that was, you don't want to live a life of regret. You want to look forward in life. You can't change the past. You can look back and learn from the past, but you can't change what has gone on. So we're going to talk about regret, and we're going to have a very inspirational guest coming on, a couple, Tashara and Cassell Hunter, and they're going to be sharing with us their story about how they lost their son as he drowned on a Carnival cruise. And so their story is very touching, but also it touches on the regrets of that day, what they wish they could have done differently. And also, we're going to be taking your calls. So again, that number is 800-333-0001. Again, 800-333-0001. Now, if you want to see or hear today's show again, you can catch our show on YouTube, or you can listen to it again by going to livingfullout.com. Click on the radio show tab, and all of our episodes will be waiting there for you. We also want to make sure that we support you. If you have questions, go ahead and email us at connect@livingfullout.com. Again, that's connect@livingfullout.com. And I'm getting word from our producer that we do have a call on the line. So let's go and say hi to them. Hello, welcome to the Living Full Out Show.
Hello, Nancy?
Yes, hi. Thank you for calling in. How can I help you today?
Oh, I just had a question.
Yes.
I have an 18-year-old daughter that I'm always curious. I'm always trying to figure out how I can spark her curiosity. These kids seem to spend all their time staring at their phone. And my wife and I are both kind of, I don't know, more curious type people. And my daughter doesn't seem to want to look up. So I'm not sure how to approach that.
Well,
I'm sure you hear this all the time.
You know what? I actually do, because the thing is when you birth that beautiful daughter, right? Is it a daughter or son?
Yeah, it's daughter.
Daughter. Okay, when you birthed her, unfortunately, she did not necessarily come out a replica of you and your wife, personality-wise or curiosity-wise, right? She's going to have her own drive, her own interests. And they might not be as curious. I hear you on the curiosity front. You know, sometimes people they like to read, they like to troubleshoot. And other people, not so much. They want it more easy. They don't have that same sense of discovery, but maybe they're more into play. They're more into experiencing life as it unfolds. And that's a great way to be as well. Now, what you might consider is creating a game out of it or some sort of a reward. I know it sounds silly, but let's say you were to have her, I don't know, go on a trip. Maybe, there's some great adventure programs out there where she can go for like a week or a month or a couple weeks to somewhere to experience. And maybe within that experience, you could make it a game that she try or experience different things, and she'll get rewarded for that in some way. Now, obviously, there's the expense of the trip, and there's, the expense of the reward. You could also make it a little bit less expensive. You could say, we really would love for you to learn an instrument. We'd really love for you to learn a language. And if you learn that language, we will send you to that country, or we'll go as a family to that country. Or if you learn that instrument, then another reward will come out of that. And see if maybe she is more driven by that ability to get a reward. Now, the reward would have to be something that would appeal to her. Maybe that is a new phone. Maybe it's a new mobile phone. I don't know, so, but that might get her out there. And maybe as she starts to do these sort of things because mom and dad want me to, but because she wants the reward, maybe along the way she'll discover, that was kind of interesting. And it's kind of a way to get her out there. Is that something you can do?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Good,
Thank you very much.
Well,
I appreciate
you got it. No, and you know what? Also, do something with her. Family time. Look what's going on in your area on a Friday, a Saturday, a Sunday, and do something together. It could be something cultural. It could be painting. It could be something athletic. But you could always do things together to have her take on those new experiences also. Okay?
Sure. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much for calling, and have a great day. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So, obviously that father, he doesn't want to look back and have regrets that he wished his daughter had learned more things, had experienced things. I love that he's asking that question. He wants to get involved. We're going to go back to the phone lines now. We have another caller on the line. Hello, welcome to the Living Full Out Show.
Yes, hi.
Hi, thank you for calling in. How can we help you?
Well, I've got a problem that probably maybe many women can relate to, and I'm hoping maybe you can help me with a new approach. I've been married 42 years, and I have a wonderful husband in many, many ways. However, he is probably the world's worst or best procrastinator, and it's really difficult to motivate him. Excuse me, and we have ongoing, projects where kind of, do-it-yourselfers and so on. And I find that these projects just end up, with so much tension and, arguing and so on and so forth. And I feel like his mother most of the time telling, okay, now we need to do this and now we need to do that. And it's always a very, difficult situation. I would really like to be able to approach him in a, positive way, or find a way to motivate him, or where he's self-motivated, or I don't feel like his mother all the time, because that's how I feel. So I'm just looking for any suggestion that maybe my approach is negative. I don't know, but
well, no. I think
situation.
No, I get it. And a lot of women are probably nodding their heads, and actually men too, because women can be that same way. I guess one of the questions I have for you is, whatever the task is, whatever the project is he accepting that up front? Like, he's saying, I'll do it, but then he just doesn't do it. Is he
yes.
taking, okay. So
yes.
One thing you might do, and this is not manipulation, this is just a get it done attitude, is I think you got to take the projects away. See, people naturally, as humans, we don't want to go without. We don't want to miss anything. We don't want to be substituted. We don't want to, we want to be the one to get that glory moment, But what he's doing is he's saying, I'll do it, because he wants to be the one to do it. He wants to be the hero. He wants to be the provider.
Right,
all the things that men generally do want.
He gets mad.
Well, but I think you got to take it away. And it's okay that he's going to have a tantrum. Remember, you do not want to be his mother. You're his wife, right? And if he gets upset, at the end of the day, it has to get done. Things have to get done. And so I think that would increase his drive when he sees that either projects are no longer being offered to him and you're just outright outsourcing them, or doing them yourself. Because now he's not, his value isn't there as much. And that's going to probably irritate him, and it'll probably drive him to want to do more things. And you don't want to look at it like manipulation, because it's not. The fact of the matter is, it's just things have to get done, period. Right? You can't have projects just sitting there. And so if he's not going to do them, then just give the project over. Don't tell him you're going to do it. Just do it. Okay? And he'll be like, I was going to do that. And he's going to say, I was going to do that. Well, you took like a month or a year, and we've had arguments about it, and I don't want to argue about it. So I just, hired someone to get it done. Now it's done. Or I did it myself, and now it's done. And I promise you, he's going to sit there and go, well, I don't like that. I could have done it. Right? So let him take the initiative. He's got to want to do these things. They got to get done, but he's got to want to do them. You can't force somebody to do something. And if you do, now the balance between your intimate, romantic husband and wife relationship is out of balance because now you're telling him what to do. So that's what I would try.
I've never heard that, and I really like that.
Well, good.
And
I believe in you. You can absolutely do it, and just hug them, love them, kiss them, and say, got it done. On to the next project. Okay? But thank you but you got it. Thank you so much for calling in, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. And everybody, when we come back, we're going to be joined by Tashara and Cassell Hunter. Again, their story is emotional, yet inspiring, so you want to stay with us. We'll be right back.
Dad, this is fun. I didn't think I'd like kayaking.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, but I think it's time to head back in.
Okay. Can we come back?
Sure.
Tomorrow?
Let's check with Mom. Hey, be careful getting out of the boat.
It's a kayak, Dad.
I'm going to return the kayak. Just make sure you have everything.
Yep. Can we walk home?
How about a taxi? 233 North Maple, please.
It's a short fare from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a neighborhood park or green space near you. Also, find fun activities to do like boating and biking or camping and hiking, plus much more. It's all right in your naturehood.
Best day ever.
A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
Don't you wish that getting your child to eat right, move more, and spend less time in front of a screen could be as easy as pushing a button? It might not be that simple, but you do have more power than you know. And you can maximize that power with proven strategies, tips, and tools from the National Institutes of Health's We Can, or Ways to Enhance Children's Activity and Nutrition program. We Can offers all kinds of resources, including fun recipes and activities the family can do together to show you the way to live a healthier lifestyle. We're not saying it's easy. We are saying that it can be done. Take the first step today. Call 1-866-359-3226 for a free We Can Parents Handbook. And be sure to visit the We Can website at wecan.nhlbi.nih.gov for free information too. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Today, my new dad and I shot off a rocket in the park.
Today, my new son and I failed to shoot off a rocket.
He knew exactly what to do.
It's not working. I had no clue what I was doing.
We set up the rocket.
Hit ignition.
And then
nothing. Ha 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 ha. Sometimes I laugh when I'm frustrated.
Then out of nowhere, the rocket launched into the air.
The rocket did get into the air.
I've never seen anything fly so high.
And then crashed into a kite. Look out! Look out! And then the pond.
I'll never forget that day.
I'll never forget that day, even if I tried.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are. For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
When I was little, I didn't talk for a long time. I liked things to always be the same. Anything new or different would scare and upset me. I was very sensitive to lights and sounds. It was almost like I had bigger eyes and ears than everyone else. So I built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. I didn't like looking people in the eye. It made me feel uncomfortable. I'd throw big tantrums over little things like when my socks didn't match. Sometimes I'd do the same things over and over. Until one day, I found out I had autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I learned how to live with it better.
You can see signs of autism in children as young as 18 months. Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. A professional motivational speaker, Nancy can help you overcome obstacles and start living full out. Call in with questions live at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Thank you for joining us today. I am Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show. And today we're talking about regret and how do we live full out in life? How do we move forward past those tough moments that challenge us both emotionally, physically, and sometimes just make us want to give up? But we don't give up. We press forward and we try to forgive, and we try to not have the regret of the past. Well, our inspirational guests for today, Tashara and Cassell Hunter, are a perfect example of what it means to live full out. They have regrets every day after losing their 6-year-old boy when he drowned. And the great thing is as a couple, they weathered through that emotional storm together. And they come out the other end sharing with us the lessons that they have learned. So I'd very much like to welcome Tashara and Cassell to the show. Hello, welcome.
Hello, hi.
Hi, nice to hear both of your voices. And, we have both of you here today, and both of you actually have such important parts of this story to share. I know that, it was, the final day of your journey, and, I believe, Tashara, you were in the cabin wanting to finish watching a movie, and the boys wanted to go swimming, and Cassell, you decided, that you would take them up to the pool. And so, Cassell, can you share with us, that day when you got up to the pool, kind of how the accident happened and what unfolded?
Yes, Nancy, thank you for having us. Well, it was a Sunday afternoon, and like you said earlier, we were in the cabin, and the boys wanted to go up and pretty much tour the upper deck of the cruise ship that we were on, and they asked me, Quentin and Jermaine, they asked me could they go sit in the jacuzzi, in the jacuzzi area, and I told them I didn't have a problem with that, fine, but that's the only place that you guys can go. So they ran off, sat down in the jacuzzi, and they were within viewing distance, so I sat down on one of the pool deck lawn chairs, and then that's when I noticed a gentleman that my wife was familiar with, one of her church members that just so happened to be on the cruise ship with us, and he was on the upper deck overseeing the pool area, and I spoke to him, and we spoke, and he started to walk down the spiral stairs. And at that time, he made it down to the lower deck where I was at, and we started carrying on the conversation. Well, at that moment, the pool area, the deck area, started to have people kind of meandering around and walking around, and I looked over at the boys, and they were still sitting in the jacuzzi area, just playing, having a good time. And I continued to carry on the conversation with this gentleman that knew my wife from the church. Mm-hmm. So we carried on the conversation, and then all of a sudden the DJ started getting his equipment set up and everything, and he started playing music. Now at this time, more and more people were starting to come out of their rooms, and they were starting to get into party mode as the DJ started playing the music. So he played this one particular song, and Jermaine got us out of the jacuzzi area, and he ran around the other side of the jacuzzi area and started line dancing. I guess it was a line dance. I guess that's what they were doing. And I didn't really pay attention as far as looking to see where Quentin was, because I'm looking at the fact that, okay, it's just a jacuzzi. It's an oversized pool. being comfortable at that particular point in time, and I just didn't think about it. So as everyone was dancing, and I'm carrying on the conversation now, at this point in time, the upper deck area was full of people. Everybody was dancing, enjoying themselves. And then I hear the DJ scream, "Somebody get that kid." Now, me and this guy that was talking, we immediately stopped talking, and we were looking like, okay, well, what's going on? So we started fighting our way through the crowd towards the pool area, and that's when I noticed a gentleman on the opposite side of the pool jump in, and when he jumped in, that's when he pulled my son up out of the water.
And Cassell, first of all, thank you for sharing this story with us. I know it's hard, and
yes, ma'am.
I want to let you know we feel you. Everybody's with you in this moment, and
I appreciate it. I appreciate
that. Yeah. When you saw them pull when you saw that person pull him out of the pool, what went through your mind at that point?
I was puzzled because I didn't understand why he wasn't where, I told him to be. So when he grabbed him out of the pool, I had this puzzled feeling that came over me. But at the same token, at this point, I'm basically in survival mode for him. Like, okay, let's get you back going. Let's get you back breathing, and I didn't really realize or understand the significance of the situation because, like I said, I didn't know, the severity of it. I knew that it was a situation where he was in the water, but I didn't really know how long. It was just so much going on in my mind, and then
it's a lot to take in. And when they were trying to bring him back, when they were trying to get him to start breathing again, and you knew that he wasn't going to breathe, how do you?
This was later on. I would say maybe 5, maybe 10 minutes, maybe past that. He was working on him. We were trying to perform CPR, and it was just a lot going on. I mean, it seemed like a lifetime for me because as he was performing CPR on my son, I just so happened to look around and look up, and a lot of the people that were on the upper deck, I noticed that they had their cell phones out, and everybody was recording everything. And
that's
for me it was a horrible moment. And at that point in time, I was basically hoping that he.
Hey, Cassell, hold that thought because we have to take a break, and I'm so sorry to take a break right this moment, but it's an important moment in your story. So everybody stay with us. We'll be coming right back with Tashara Cassell Hunter, sharing their very sensitive but inspiring story. You want to hear the rest. We'll be back.
Listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari.
There are many sounds in your day-to-day life. There are sounds that wake you up. Sounds that make you smile. Sounds that energize you. And sounds that help you relax. But there are some sounds that can alert you to danger and can help save lives. Wireless emergency alerts, now on many mobile devices, use a unique sound and vibration to bring you information about severe weather events, Amber Alerts, or other emergencies in your area. With critical information from local sources you know and trust, you can be in the know, wherever you are. For more information, visit ready.gov/alerts. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. With millions of YouTube views, shares, Instagram likes, followers, and fans across the globe. But what do all these amazing pets have in common? Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a shelter or adoptable pets near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard? Well, that's entirely up to you. Visit theshelterpetproject.org and hear more about Hamilton the Pug, Toast, and Keyboard Cat's amazing adoption stories. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Your perfect pet is just a click away at theshelterpetproject.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
What if I could tell you that a full-blown wildfire was going to occur tomorrow right where you live? Tell you exactly which neighborhoods it would engulf and how fast it would do it. The first thing you would do is talk with your loved ones and make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a wildfire will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you make a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a trusted life coach, Nancy will help you overcome setbacks and embrace all life has to offer. Call in with questions live at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Welcome back to the Living Full Out Show. I am Nancy Solari, and today we're talking about regret. And our inspirational guest for today is Tashara and Cassell Hunter, and they're sharing with us the story about the day they lost their 6-year-old boy, Quentin, when he drowned when they were on a Carnival cruise. And I want to just go right back into where we were with our conversation with Cassell. Cassell and Tashara, are you both there?
Yes, I'm here.
Good, great, okay. So again, thank you for being so open and vulnerable with us as to sharing the details of this day. I just want to go now to the point where Quentin was not able to be revived. When you knew that he was gone, and for every parent who's gone through this, it is probably the worst moment ever. And, it's hard because I know that you were the one there that day, and Tashara was down in the cabin. And I know you had gone through a lot of processing and trying to, survival mode and all that, but what does a father do in that moment?
Well, when they were working on him and trying to resuscitate him. Like I was saying, I was just hoping that some kind of way he would start back breathing. I mean, for me, I had a sense of helplessness. At the same time, anger, because I felt like I wasn't paying enough attention to what was going on, letting my guard down, and it was just a sense of helplessness, you know. And finally, when I guess the people from the what do they call it? I guess the infirmary or the hospital area of the ship, they were trying to finally get there to I guess use the defibrillator on them. They tried to revive him that way, but it was just no help at that point in time. And then at that point, that's when my wife walked up, and she was, not hysterical at the point when she first saw it, but once she realized what was going on, then that was another situation that I had to deal with. So as a father, it was just a sense of helplessness for me.
There's a lot going on with a crowd, the people crying, your son, your other son, your wife. I understand. I can feel that helplessness at that moment. And Tashara, let's come over to you now, okay? Because you came up from the cabin wanting to get everybody back in the cabin to get ready for dinner, and it was all chaotic, and you probably didn't know what was going on. But when you did finally see Quentin there, and obviously any woman, any mom would be hysterical, but share with us your perception of that moment.
When I walked up, all I remember that it was completely silent on the ship, on the deck. I never really realized or thought about why was it so quiet. But when I did see Quentin laying on the bench, and they were trying to resuscitate him, my first thought was, that can't be my baby. And I just began to scream, is that my baby? And by this time, a friend of ours had grabbed me and pulled me away to try and keep me calm. Mm-hmm. And try to get me not to respond to what I was seeing, but to pray. Mm-hmm. And at that moment, she was assisting me, and we were praying. And like I said, it was pretty quiet. I could kind of hear, and I couldn't hear. She was kind of covering my ears because she didn't want me to hear what was going on. And at one point, everyone started clapping, and she was like, see, he's going to be okay. And I tried to turn around and tried to look, and she was kind of holding on to me, and I was trying to see, why was everybody clapping? And, at that time, at that moment, I felt a sense of peace because they were clapping, and I knew they wouldn't be clapping if there was still danger, that there, he wouldn't still be passing. And it's like they clap for a brief moment, and then they stop clapping. I started asking her why they stopped clapping. And I saw like two young ladies walk past us, and they were sobbing. And at that time, I realized something wasn't good. It wasn't good. What was going on wasn't good. And then I began to see other people praying, and then I just kind of was looking around, but still I couldn't. It still seemed like there was silence.
Yeah, and, I know in that moment for you were having a nervous breakdown, a panic attack. It was, which is understandable because you couldn't quite even get the scope of what was happening. I want to take the story a little further down the road. You know, to calm you down, they had taken you into their hospital room-ish type of room where they keep people, and they were also working with Quentin in another room. Obviously, at this point, he had passed. And I know Cassell and Tashara, you guys were in together in this room that you're in. And I am in awe of you as a couple, because we all understand the story and what happened and the result. But, you know, what was the conversation that you two had around this? Because on one hand, Cassell, we've all been there. We've all been distracted, you know, and this is absolutely an accident, a tragedy. And Tashara, I know that, you know, you were a part of every event, every moment of this cruise, except that one time that you decided to stay down in the cabin and watch the movie. So as a couple, because we're talking about like regret today and how we can move out of that place into a more positive place, how did you not go into blaming mode? How did you support each other during that time?
Well, I know for me, I was expecting her to blame me, but to be honest with you, it was nothing that, in my opinion, that she couldn't have said that couldn't have been more, how can I put it? I was harder on myself than I believe that she could have ever said or been towards me, because I felt like that was my responsibility. So regardless of what she could have said or could have been thinking, you know, like I said, I'm more harder on myself than anything. But yeah, she never said it. She never it never came out, you know. So I was appreciative of that. But like I said, it was just me having to deal with you know, feeling like it was all my fault, you know. So
yeah, and we all definitely, you know, understand that, and that, you know, that's a blessing that she was so loving in return to you, and Tashara, how you know, because we're talking about regret today, I'm sure you regretted, unfortunately, being in that cabin. How did you heal within yourself from not being there?
There's still moments that I still kind of go back, but just I'm a Christian, a woman of God, and a lot of prayer, a lot of support, but mostly praying has really helped me to grasp and to kind of get through, and knowing that I still have to be here for my other children and being a support to try to keep my husband lifted up, because he is really hard on himself when it comes to a lot of things. And just knowing from my faith, that's pretty much what's been holding me together.
Yeah. And how do you celebrate Quentin today? How do you change that day and find a way to make it more positive? Because I know, you know, 5 kids, right? A lot of kids. You guys are loving parents at the heart. How do you celebrate his memory?
We do celebrate a couple of times, of course, his birthday, and a lot of times we release balloons. We go, his school that he was attending at that time planted a tree and a bench. So we go out there and sit, and we put ribbons on the tree and different things like that. As far as his the anniversary of his death, we tried to do an annual, we call it an annual picnic, pretty much. So we did establish a foundation to be able to assist other parents with awareness of how dangerous
and what is the foundation? What is the foundation?
Being around water, we do offer.
And Tashara, what is that foundation called? What is your foundation called?
It's called the Quentin Hunter Love, and it's LUV Foundation.
Okay. Perfect. And, as we kind of close up today's interview, I respect so much both of you for being here today and making sure that you share this story so parents become more aware. And I just want to thank you very much for being here with us. And I'm going to be thinking of you. I'll be thinking of both of you and Quentin today. Okay? But thank you so much for joining us. Okay. Thank you
very much, Nancy.
And everybody, when we come back, we're going to be taking your calls. Again, we're talking about regret today, but we don't have to live a life of regret. We don't. Just like the hunters, you can choose to be positive. You can choose to look forward, and that's what we're doing. So we'll be right back after this break.
Jason, I've got to tell you, you're pretty much everything this company is looking for in an entry-level candidate.
Great.
Your resume isn't quite what we're used to, but you've got a fantastic work ethic.
Thank you.
And I'm impressed by how you carry yourself.
So, should we talk about the job?
What? The job? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have no way of recruiting or even meeting you. This interview didn't happen.
It may sound ridiculous, and that's because it kind of is. There's a huge pool of talent your company is missing out on. Meet the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Man, we really could have used him.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
The following message is about Medicaid and CHIP, free or low-cost health coverage for kids and teens. Enrollment is open year-round.
Hey, voice lady, give me the mic.
Okay.
Hey, DJ, let's switch up the music. That's better. So listen up, moms and dads out there. There are these programs called Medicaid and CHIP. They offer free or low-cost health coverage for kids. Things like doctor and dentist visits, prescriptions, and shots are covered. All the stuff that keeps kids like me healthy and in charge.
So, as you can tell, a covered kid is a confident kid. And it means confident parents, too. To learn more about affordable health coverage for your family, visit healthcare.gov or call 1-877-KIDS-NOW. That's 1-877-543-7669.
Yep, you could do something big for your family today because enrollment is open year-round.
This has been a message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
And Sophia.
They're going to jump out of trees. You can't stop them. They'll go down the slide head first. They'll make parachutes out of sheets. They'll balance on things that are impossible to balance on, like the back of a couch or a windowsill or a scooter seat. They'll run with sharp objects. They'll run into walls. They'll climb things that won't hold their weight. They'll put their fingers in places where they could get smashed. They'll drive their tricycles down steep hills. They'll bounce balls off their faces. They'll step on each other. They'll jump on each other. They'll invent whole new ways to put themselves in jeopardy. But one of the most dangerous things kids will do happens while they're sitting perfectly still. Kids who ride in a car without a booster seat are much more likely to suffer serious or fatal injury during a crash than kids in boosters. But amazingly, 80% of all kids who need them aren't in them. After a toddler seat and until they're 4'9", boost your kids and don't let them down.
Go to boosterseat.gov to learn more about the importance of boosters. A message from the U.S. Department of Transportation and the Ad Council.
Hey, Nick Cannon here. So we all know we've got a lot of talent in America. But unfortunately, there's something else we've got way too much of. Childhood hunger. 17 million kids struggle with it in this country. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks gather surplus food to give hope to hungry kids and their families. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
We're your pets, and this song's dedicated to those people who don't have health insurance yet. Enroll, we say. We want you to be okay. Enroll,
Health insurance is now affordable and covers prescriptions, hospitalizations, and preventive care. Visit getcoveredamerica.org to learn more.
And take care, people.
Brought to you by Get Covered America and the Ad Council.
There's always going to be points in our life where we regret having done something, said something. We wish we could have done it differently. But you don't want to live a life of regret. You want to choose to learn from those lessons. Be able to personally develop yourself, evolve as you truly live your life full out.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a certified life coach, Nancy can help you to overcome challenges and start living full out. Call in with questions live at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Okay, here we are. I'm Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out show. And today we're talking about regret. And that is a very heavy topic. You know, we're talking to the hunters in our last segment, and they're sharing with us about their son who had drowned and the regrets that they had of that day. And you might even be thinking to yourself, yeah, I regret X, Y, and Z. But you don't want to stay in the place of that negative mindset. You don't want to allow yourself to creep deeper and deeper into depression. You want to say to yourself, you know what? It's okay. I made a mistake. I failed. I had wrong judgment. I'm human. Because we all do that. We've all had moments where we made a bad choice. But you take that moment and you extract the lessons that you learned. You say to yourself, I'm going to do it differently next time. And then you open your arms really wide and you embrace that next time, that next shot to get it right. It's all about changing your mindset so you're stepping into a more positive place rather than allowing yourself to stay in that negative self-talk that we so oftentimes do. Now, we're going to go back to the phone lines. We have a caller on the line. Hello, welcome to the Living Full Out show.
Hi.
Hi, thank you for joining us. How can we help you today?
Well, I am a newly single mother. I just separated from my husband, and my son is 14 years old, which is the stage where everyone says that teenagers go through a thing. My problem is I'm not sure if my son is just going through a thing or if maybe it's bothering him that that me and his dad have separated. I can't get him to talk to me, and he's just, kind of doesn't want to talk, has an attitude a lot lately, and it kind of just happened right after the separation. And I'm just not sure if it's just teenage hormones or if it's him upset about the separation.
Well, and first of all, I give you a lot of credit for asking that question, and it shows how much you love your son. And it's probably a little bit of both, to be honest. I would never want to go back and be 14 again, ever. Would you? It is a tough time, right? Who wants to do 14 again? Right. But at the same time, there's all those pressures, and being 14 today is different than being 14 when I was 14. I know that for sure. And so I think you kind of have to be understanding to social pressures, educational pressures that he might be under just at his age. And yeah, it also could be the separation of his parents. I know I came from a divorced family, and when my parents got divorced when I was 10, younger than your son, my mom moved us a state away. And, I always thought to myself, did my dad fight for us? Did he want us? And it was a very confusing time. And so I think that any child's going to go through their own regrets. Was it me? Did I do something wrong? Could I have helped my parents stay together? They're going to go through that processing. Now, where you can look forward, where you can help him is just to love him. And by loving him, it means that you inquire about what's going on in his life, that you constantly give him praise for things, that you tell him that you're proud of him, that whatever he dreams, you support that dream, even if it seems like it's unattainable. You're right there beside him. Now, you can't control the actions of your ex-husband. Hopefully he is on board and does all those same things. But all you can do is say, you know what? I love you, and I'm right here beside you. And whenever you have a fear, a question, if you want to know anything about, or even why your father and I separated, my door is always open. Like, I'm here for you. And that's all you can do. But that will carry a lot of weight. Because as soon as he gets out of this kind of funky 14, 15, 16, 18 stage, maybe into the 20s, sometimes it gets a little bit rough there too.
Wow.
You know, he just wants to know that he has your support, that he has your love, and that you're proud of him. Because he does, you know, he might think, did he do something wrong? And is that why you split? Right. And so by constantly giving that reinforcement, he'll know it wasn't me. And that's all you can control. And I would also maybe
thank you for that.
And
I'll just keep getting on his nerves, no matter how much how much he thinks I get on his nerves. I just have to keep talking to him and asking questions, and letting him.
Well, and you know what you might do? You might not, maybe once a week, at least once a month, have a date night. You and your son. Yeah. It's date night. What are we going to do? And just build special times between you and him.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Okay,
well,
that's a great idea. Thank you very much.
You got it. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for calling in. Bye-bye. What a great question. Here she is reflecting on her separation and wondering if that has impacted her son in the way that he's acting. But she's not going to live a life of regrets because she asked, she seeks support, she called in today. And that's what you want to do. You want to take those regrets that are haunting you and throw them out the window because they're in the past. All you have is today and tomorrow. And that's something that you can count on. So I want to thank everybody listening today and appreciate so much our studio team here. We had Carrie and TJ and Mindy and Rich. And we will be back next week here to inspire you. But in the meantime, here's to living your life full out.